In 2006, we stripped it of its status and pushed it out of the planetary club. We labeled it a dwarf world, a cold leftover, a frozen remnant drifting at the edge of everything. But when a spacecraft finally traveled nearly 4 billion miles to see it up close, what we found was not lifeless or simple. We expected a quiet ball of ice and rock. Instead, we discovered a strange, active world, mountains that float, plains of shifting nitrogen ice, snow the color of dried blood, and a vast pale heart stretched across its surface. For more than 7 decades, we called Pluto the 9th planet. Then we demoted it. Yet Pluto did not become any less extraordinary. Picture the journey. Nearly 10 years in space, racing outward at around 50,000 miles per hour. As Earth fades behind you, the sun begins to shrink. It stops looking like the blazing star that warms our oceans and becomes just another bright dot in a black sky. Out near Pluto's orbit, sunlight is hundreds of times weaker than what we see on a cloudy day. At noon on Pluto, the sky would not glow blue. It would remain black, as if twilight never ends. In July 2015, the spacecraft sent back images that stunned scientists. Spanning Pluto's equator was a bright, heart-shaped region, smooth and luminous against darker terrain. It looked almost friendly at first glance, but that heart is 1,000 miles across. It is not decorative. It is a vast basin known as Sputnik Planitia, filled with a glacier made of frozen nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide. This ice behaves nothing like the ice in your freezer. Pluto still carries a faint trace of internal heat from radioactive elements deep inside. That slight warmth rises upward and stirs the nitrogen ice above. Over long timescales, the frozen surface slowly circulates and overturns, like a thick, sluggish stew kept barely warm. Any impact craters that form are gradually erased. Debris sinks and disappears. The surface renews itself. At the edges of this immense plain stand mountains unlike anything on Earth. Temperatures hover around -390 degrees Fahrenheit. In that cold, water ice is as hard as granite. Those towering peaks, some rising more than 10,000 feet, are made of solid water ice. Because water ice is lighter than the dense nitrogen ice beneath it, entire mountain blocks can break loose and drift across the glacier like icebergs on a frozen sea. Imagine a chunk of landscape the size of a mountain range slowly gliding over a white frozen expanse. And the colors are unsettling. The mountaintops are dusted not in white snow, but in deep red. Ultraviolet light from the distant sun interacts with methane in Pluto's thin atmosphere, triggering chemical reactions that create complex organic compounds known as tholins. These particles settle gently onto the surface, staining it dark red. For years, scientists thought Pluto was frozen solid all the way through, but there was a puzzle. The massive weight of Sputnik Planitia should have tipped the dwarf planet over as it evolved. It did not. The leading explanation is that beneath the crust lies something denser acting as a counterbalance, a buried ocean of liquid water. Pressure from the ice above and residual internal heat may be enough to keep that ocean from freezing completely. An ocean in the farthest cold, in total darkness, And whenever liquid water exists, even under extreme conditions, one question naturally follows. Could anything survive there? We do not yet know. As the spacecraft departed, it turned back for a final look. Pluto passed in front of the Sun, and the image revealed a thin, glowing halo, a fragile blue atmosphere illuminated from behind. For a brief moment, this distant world looked almost delicate. Pluto is not alone. It shares a tight gravitational partnership with its largest moon, Charon. Charon is so large relative to Pluto that the two worlds orbit a point in space between them. They form a binary system, locked together. Each keeps the same face toward the other. If you stood on one hemisphere of Pluto, Charon would hang motionless in the sky, never rising or setting. On the opposite side, you would never see it at all. Charon carries its own scars. Its northern pole bears a dark reddish region called Mordor Macula. Material escaping from Pluto's atmosphere drifts across space and freezes onto Charon's surface, linking the two bodies in a quiet exchange. Surrounding this pair are four smaller moons, Nix, Hydra, Kerberos, and Styx. They tumble chaotically, spinning unpredictably as they circle the system. Together, they form a complex frozen family at the edge of the Sun's domain. We may have changed Pluto's classification, but we did not change its nature. It remains one of the most intriguing worlds in the Kuiper Belt, a realm of red-stained ice, drifting mountains, hidden oceans, and subtle internal motion. It will continue its slow orbit long after human debates are forgotten. And if you travel inward from that distant frontier, closer to the Sun, the stillness gives way to violence. There is a blue giant where winds howl at thousands of kilometers per hour, and pressure turns carbon into falling diamonds. But that is another story. For now, keep looking up. The outer solar system is far stranger than we once imagined.